Yes, sir, we're officially back at it. This is Boog Nice coming at you with the SH Figuarts Downtown Hitoshi Matsumoto and Masatoshi Hamada figures review. Let's do it.
This ain't for no scalper. You a scalper? Then fuck out shit. This one's for them real collectors. That's army building and posing figures. Marvel Legends, imports, mini matey I'm fucking with. Hype beast we know about you. Stay buying figs, don't know about it.
And this is going to be another 2-for-1 special. Makes sense to look at both of these guys together as they are a comedy duo called Downtown. And they appear on Japanese television. As far as I know, they're funny guys, but then again, I don't really know anything about them. But as you can see here, if you look at some of the images from the back of the box, they are both in suited bodies. So you know why I got them, and you know why you're here. You want to see some swaps. You want to see how these suited bodies look with some of the other heads from SH Figuarts or from other lines. And that's what I'll get into. I'll definitely, you know, go over the body, go over the articulation and the accessories and what have you, but I really wanted these guys because I wanted some goons for my SH Figuarts figures, or possibly Tony Stark and other characters that might wear a suit. So without any further ado, let's get into it. Alright, so I've got Hitoshi Matsumoto and Masatoshi Hamada out of the package, and like I mentioned, I don't really know much about these guys or the characters that they play. But I will say that these bodies look pretty nice. I do like the sculpt and design here, and I'm eager to do some head swaps and see what's what with these bodies. But yeah, you could see this guy's in sort of like a charcoal gray suit, and this guy's in like a navy blue suit. And yeah, man, I think these look good. So let's go over the accessories, articulation, and then we will get into some swaps. So out of the package, they both come with a set of fisted hands, and they both come with their neutral, relaxed faces. In fact, they kind of look like gangsters here and not comedians, but they both have the same amount of interchangeable hands and the same exact interchangeable hands and a couple of interchangeable heads. So I'll go through the hand swaps for this fella, because they'll be exactly the same for the other guy, and then I'll show you the head swaps. They both come with a set of open hands with the fingers slightly spread. And they both come with a set of hands gesturing the peace sign, which is pretty interesting. I'd like to see maybe these hands swapped onto other figures. That would be cool. They have a set of semi-open hands that are kind of cupped. These are like grabby hands. You can actually probably get them to hold some items with these. The fingers are semi-soft, pliable plastic. You can definitely get something in the hand there, so these work. They've got a set of open flat palms, so if you want them to milli rock on any block, then these will work out. And finally, these hands, which I don't think I've ever seen these type of hands with any of the SH Figuarts figures, but these are open with the thumbs sort of extended out from the fingers, and they're semi-cupped. And I guess these could kind of be used for clapping maybe, or a Birdman hand rub, or to extend the hands out, like, you know, put it in my hand, give me, or maybe they can actually hold something with these. I'm not sure how important these are to the characters or what they do, but these were a nice touch. And swapping out all the hands was not a problem. These are the typical small wrist pegs for SH Figuarts, and although I did say these guys sort of look like gangsters with their neutral faces, there was not a set of trigger fingers in here. That wouldn't be accurate for the characters, I suppose. However, if I have another SH Figuarts figure that comes with trigger fingers, I will see if they can be swapped onto this body. But looking at the neutral head here for Hitoshi, looks pretty good. It looks pretty accurate to some of the images that I've seen. I've seen him with the sort of blonde, bleach blonde hair, and I've seen him with sort of buzz cut as well. But I think they did a pretty good job on his likeness, again, from what I can tell. And he has an additional, a couple different head sculpts as well. So let's look at those. And in order to swap out the face plates, you're actually not pulling off the complete head, although you can. I'll show you that. You can actually pull the head off, and the peg remains in the head, and you see how that looks. But in order to swap on the different face plates that he have. You just pull that one off the front and apply the next. So he's got one head sculpt here where it looks like he's laughing, I suppose. Either that or he's shitting. I don't know what's going on here, but yeah, it looks like he's laughing or surprised, or I don't know. I think he's supposed to be laughing. But it looks pretty cool, looks pretty goofy. Again, these guys are comedians, so I would assume that goes along with his character and what they do. And I don't really have an issue with this one, it looks good. And then his final accessory and his third head sculpt or faceplate. Looks like he's surprised or screaming, calling out for somebody, not sure. But this one looks pretty good too. No issues there. And taking a close look at Masatoshi, who comes with the same exact hands as his partner, so I'm not going to go through every hand swap here. Give you a close look at the neutral head sculpt, which again I think looks pretty decent. The likeness is there. I don't know if it's spot on, but it's decent. And let's look at his additional head or face plates. And pretty much the same deal. We've got one face plate where he's laughing and one where he's screaming, open mouth, surprised, whatever it may be. Looks like he's screaming at me. And I have no issues with any of these. Swapping everything out was no problem. I think the bodies look great. So it looks like the same exact buck for both of these guys, which means the same articulation scheme. And from what I can tell, it's a pretty standard articulation for SH Figuarts. You saw that there was a little ball peg in the head, so the head can move independently of the neck, and the neck moves a bit too. You can get him to look down, you can get him to look up just that far. I kind of wish his ability to look up was a little better. Shoulders are on a ball joint. I would assume these could probably pop out the socket maybe, but you get a butterfly joint as well. You can do a full 360. You get a simulated upper bicep swivel or shoulder swivel. It's not really a cut at the bicep, but the range of motion here on the arms and shoulders is very good. You get a little bit more than 90 degrees on the elbow. You get a swivel and a hinge on the wrist. You do get a little bit of upper torso articulation there, which is pretty deep, so it gets a decent ab crunch. And then you do get some articulation here at the lower abdomen, and he can turn left to right as well. So you get a nice range here in the torso. The legs are going to come up about that far here at the pelvis. There is a softer plastic here at the pelvic area. Gets a decent split. You get an upper thigh swivel. You get a double jointed knee. You get a hinge, a swivel, a pivot on the foot, and you also get a toe joint. So nice articulation for these suited bodies. I'm happy with that. Alright, getting into some size comparisons and swaps. I wanted to do a comparison of the other suited bodies out there on the market right now, or at least the ones that I have. So on the far left is the Hasbro Marvel Legends suited buck, and this is actually the body for Ross from the Ross and Killmonger 2-pack. And on the right I have the Mafex Harvey Dent. And so you can see how those stack up. SHF is the smallest out of these three. SHF is known to be the smallest sort of 6-inch scale. Some people say it's true 6-inch scale. But yeah, you can see these look pretty decent. So if you wanted to kind of mix and match and get a scene going with a bunch of suited guys, I suppose you could. Again, I always say this, I'm not really a fan of kind of mixing up the lines. I do think that SHF and Mafex aesthetically look better together than Marvel Legends and SHF, or Marvel Legends and Mafex, so I might actually fudge those two, especially considering that the Mafex is a little larger buck. So if you wanted to get, you know, some size variation in your display, then, you know, that would work well. And just to be clear, there is another Mafex suited body. This is the body for Scarecrow, which somebody in the comments when I reviewed these two figures, somebody said that these bodies were different, and I don't know about that. The articulation scheme is pretty much the same. Maybe the pelvis area is a little different, but this is the base buck that Mafex seems like they're going to be using for their suited bodies. So I'm assuming John Wick will be on one of these two, and whoever else they have coming out with a suited body. They have a Bruce Wayne coming out. And you know what? I forgot about one suited body, which is the Figma suited body on the far right, which is the largest out of the four here. So SH Figuarts on the far left, and then to his immediate left, our right, is the Mafex body, then the Marvel Legends body, and then Figma. And taking a look at this buck next to other SHF offerings, on the left we have the SH Figuarts Infinity War movie Doctor Strange, and on the right we have the SHF Tony Stark. So you can see Tony Stark is just a tad bit taller. I'm wondering how the Tony Stark head is going to look on this body. Hopefully it still looks good. We'll do that momentarily, but I think these all stack up fine. Alright, let's have some fun. Let's see what's what here. Pop this head off. I'm wondering if it's a way that I could pop out this ball peg in the neck. Probably, but I don't know that it's necessary. Let's see. So this is me just sitting the Tony Stark head on the body. And yeah, it would look better if there was an actual neck peg there. But you can finagle it and put it on there where it looks decent, and I think that looks pretty good. So this is the Tony Stark head that came with the Tony Stark that came with the Mark 42 parts. I think it was 42, and I think that looks pretty nice. Maybe just a tad bit shorter than you would want for Tony Stark, but I think it works. Like I said, you can see this body is just a little bit taller, the actual Tony Stark body. And if I get a neck peg in there, it'll probably look even better. But the skin tones are not too different, so you got plenty of different hands that you can swap on, and I think that looks good, man. For the record, it looks like the standard wrist peg, so you can swap on the hands that came with the two Downtown, with the Downtown Duo. Those hands that they come with can be swapped onto other standard SH Figuarts figures. So I've got a peace sign for my Tony Stark now. That peace sign is going to come in handy with a lot of different figures. This is great. I'm glad we got that. And there's the standard Tony Stark head on the other body with the charcoal gray suit. So this is the body for Hitoshi Matsumoto, and this looks fine as well. I like this. There's that. And I brought in Captain America on the right. This is the Age of Ultron Captain America. And again, like I said, Tony Stark could be just a little bit taller, but then again, I would think that Cap is supposed to be a little larger than Tony. So I think this still works pretty well. And Doctor Strange doesn't look so good here with the suited body. But again, if I got the head to sit properly on the neck, this is just the head without a neck peg on there, and that looks really funny. Plus, Doctor Strange's skin tone is not as tan as Tony's. And there's a look at the Iron Man 2 movie Mark IV Tony Stark head. Well, this is the additional unmasked head that came with the Mark IV back there, and I think this looks great. I think this looks better than the other Tony Stark head. Obviously, this was the superior of the Tony Stark heads that was released by the most superior version that was released by SH Figuarts, and I think this looks good. Again, it's just sitting on there. There is no actual neck peg there, but it works. If you get it to sit upright, it looks good. I like that. And then let's see how these stack up. So does it look like there could be a man in a suit there? Yeah, if it's pretty form-fitting. I mean, I've gone through this with the other Tony Stark body, and I feel like that matches up nicely. If it was, you know, a man in a suit, and the suit was pretty form-fitting, then it works. But I think the suited body, as far as the scale and the size between that suited body and the armor there, works a little better than the official Tony Stark that we got. I wouldn't be surprised if SH Figuarts released a Tony Stark with the suited body, probably a different color scheme, but they would probably still use this same buck if they did that. But I'm really liking the way that looks. And there's the additional head sculpt that came with the Mark IV Iron Man armor without the shades, and that looks just as good. And I'm loving the peace sign. I'm keeping the peace sign up here. And in case you missed this comparison, when I actually reviewed the Mark IV, you can see how much better the head sculpt on the left looks. Hold on a second. Focus. So yeah, you can see how much better that head sculpt looks than the original. And there's the shadeless head on the blue suited body. And it could go either way for Tony Stark, the blue or the gray. There they are next to the SH Figuarts Suicide Squad movie Joker. And I guess if you wanted to try to swap this, I don't really think that's going to work because Joker's neck is like really long. Yeah, and that peg is different. So if you wanted to swap out the hands and all of that, you would still need to apply some paint. And again, this is not sitting right. And when you do get it to sit a little better, it's going to look weird. But I wonder if the hands swap out. Let's see. Cool thing that they did with Joker was that his jewelry was removable. Yeah, it looks like the wrist pegs are the same though. So I guess that could work if you wanted to do some customizing, but I'm not really a fan of that. But you know, just the option of having Joker meeting up with some other suited goons, some Japanese guys, is still pretty cool. You know, it's a lot of possibilities, a lot of things you can do display-wise. And this looks pretty interesting. This is the 25th anniversary SHF Red Ranger Jason head sculpt here, and that looks good. Again, it's just sitting on there, but sits pretty nicely. And I think that looks pretty cool. And there's Tommy, and that looks okay too. Not bad. Once again, the head is just sitting on there. There is no peg, but you can make it work. And there's the Last Jedi Kylo Ren, which doesn't work as well. The head is a little large, but you know, like I always say, some motherfuckers just got big heads. And there's the Last Jedi Luke Skywalker, which I think looks pretty cool, actually. That works if you want Mark Hamill. If you just want a current Mark Hamill in a suit, going to a movie premiere or something, then I think that looks pretty good. And there's the Infinity War cap. That looks ridiculous. Even if you got it to sit right, I don't know that it would look that great. And I also broke out the this is Civil War Unmasked Captain America head. And if this one sat a little better, I think it would look better than the bearded cap. But you need a neck peg. And again, I haven't been swapping any of these with neck pegs. I don't really want to do that. I don't feel like messing up my neck pegs or messing with them. If it can't sit on there without it, then I don't think I'm going to do it. But obviously, you can push it to the limit and do that with your figures if you so choose. And there's the Mafex Peter Parker head, which looks awful. That doesn't look good at all. Skin tones don't match up. And it's not really sitting on the neck right. I guess if you push it down a little bit, but again, the skin tones look really bad. That's unfortunate. Chris Pratt doesn't work either. If it had a neck peg, it might. Nope. Even if it sat up a bit, I don't think so. Alright, I'm getting up out of here. Revoltech Venom back there. I just want to see how those kind of stack up. I think that looks pretty cool. I know you can't really see the scaling, but I'll do more. Show stuff on my Instagram, show stuff in main course or what have you. I'm pretty happy with this purchase. I did spend quite a bit of money. I guess a little bit more than I really wanted to, but still less than you might have to spend now trying to do it. Trying to buy these on a secondary market or trying to buy them domestically. I spent about $66 or $67 per figure before shipping, and then another $20 or $25 after shipping. So that's pretty pricey. That's like $120, $30, $50, like $160 or something like that. That's pretty pricey for two figures, no doubt about it. So, you know, I wouldn't recommend that for the casual consumer, but somebody who's really trying to delve deep into their world building or army building and trying to get suits and goons and all of that good stuff, then go for it. Like I mentioned, I do believe that SH Figuarts will release a suited Tony Stark or a suited Bruce Banner or somebody in a suited body to go along with the Avengers. So I don't know that it's absolutely necessary that you do this to have your Tony Stark in a suit figure. I think if you kind of sit tight and wait, it's a possibility that that SHF will put that out at some point. But if you need it now, then yeah, this looks cool. The Iron Man or the Tony Stark in a suit looks really dope. So yeah, I think that's it. I did about as many swaps as I want to do for now. There's still a lot of things to explore, a lot of things you can explore on your own. But as always, thanks for hanging out. Rate, comment, and subscribe. Hit the bell down there. And until next time, peace.
That's crispy.